Thanks, Captain Art. Our next speaker is U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant George Pito. He served on the ground in the Pacific and in Okinawa during his time of service. He survived incredible odds to be here today, and we're proud to have him here. So please welcome Sergeant Pito.
Since I'm limited for time here, I'm going to try to consolidate my experiences. I enlisted in the Marine Corps on August 5, 1941. 4 months later, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and my little duty up in Rhode Island ended, and I ended up at New River. I ended up at a machine gun company. Trained as a machine gunner. I had an MOS number of a mortarman, a machine gunner, a rifleman, a chemical warfare NCO, and I was also the forward observer for the 81 mortars. So I had all combat military specialties, so there was no doubt where I was going to end up. I had 4 campaigns and served 32 months in the islands. And I had probably the only person that served with all 3 rifle companies in a battalion when they were totally destroyed. And then I had a colonel one time, and he said, every PFC or corporal or sergeant here can command a company. And I thought to myself, well, that's a lot of crap. So anyway, two years later on Okinawa, our mortars took a direct hit. We lost all 4 guns and half the men, so my lieutenant and I went down to the battalion to volunteer to observe for the Army, because they had designated a platoon of 4.2s for us. And we got there, the company commander was ordered, Bell Company, was ordered to take Hill 55. He'd taken the company out that morning, and he lost so many men that he didn't have the heart to take them out again and lose them. And here's a captain in the Marine Corps that refused to take his company out. Well, they relieved him immediately. And then I made sergeant 2 days before, and I became the assistant company commander of Bell Company and was ordered to take that hill. But we had a total of 37 men, and that's only a platoon, which is a third of a company. And our plan was to charge out there, the lieutenant said, like the hammers of hell, we'll be on them before they know what hit them. Well, it worked that way. We got out there, and in 5 minutes, we got shot up so bad, we lost all but we came back with 11 guys. We lost 25 men there in 5 minutes. So we were back to where we started, and you'd think they'd relieve us. But the lieutenant immediately signed, he says, take 2 men, and told me to do something. But anyway, we had to cross the field. And I told him, well, let's make a run for it and get to the gully. Well, the machine gun opens up, and the guy on my right gets hit. The guy, and the machine gun just was sweeping across, and it didn't touch me, but the guy on the left gets one, and he says, I think I've been hit. I said, well, don't stop till we get to the gully. We got there, and the bullet went in his back and come out above his heart. So I was living a charmed life. But anyway, at the Battle of Peleliu, I was with K Company, and we landed there, and in 24 hours on that beach, the Navy had neglected to sweep the opposition like he said. He wanted to get with MacArthur, because MacArthur was going back to the Philippines the next month. And all the press left, and everybody took off, so we didn't have no coverage. There isn't a person here that ever heard of Peleliu before today, I don't suppose. But anyway, we landed there, and in 24 hours, there was 18 of us left out of that company. And we stayed one more day. We stayed 48 hours. We had picked up a lot of stragglers and people that came up to help us. And we made the second night, but we were cut off from the battalion. We had about a 300-yard gap. And that night, they got behind us. They overran our left flank and got behind us. And I was manning a machine gun that night, and it went out about 4 in the morning, and I said, man, this is just what we needed. They were behind us, and our guns going, so I still had my M1, which is the best rifle that was ever put out for military use. So my plan was, when I fired the last round, I was going to dive off that little cliff, hit the water, and swim for the ships. And it was the only time in them 32 months that I felt that we wouldn't make it. And then I went, when the company got relieved, since I was a battalion observer for the 81s, I went with I Company and spent 5 days with them, and we made it to the top of that Umbroba Mountain. And the Naval Intelligence said it was flat, and it was a 550-foot high mountain down the middle, and honeycombed with caves. They had 10,000 Japanese in there. And it was the first time they wouldn't banzai. They made the plan that they would stay in their holes and they would come out at night and harass us. And then they'd make us come dig them out. So we used napalm and grenades to get them out, and we traded man for man. It was the first time our casualties was that high. And it was, and that was the second company. When we came back down off that hill 5 days later, why, I think there was 27 men left in I Company. So I have had a pretty extensive combat career, and I'm still able to tell it. For years, for 40 years when I came home, I never talked about it. I worked, never gave it a thought. I thought everybody fought. And the more I got involved in this school, actually I got a letter from a general, the commander of Paris Island, and he requested me if I would take my group that I had. I was the president of the 81 Mortars, and he requested that I go to the schools and help the Marines raise troops. For 20 years I've been doing that. And I go to the high schools and speak in all of them. And there's a high school, I think, in central Ohio that I haven't spoken. And I've gone as high and far away as Worcester, Urbana, and all. And I always get calls to come back. It was people put too much emphasis on what war is all about. There's no glory in it, and but you're like a team. You develop you train and you train and you know you're good. When we landed at Pelham, we were the best, the only division in the United States, with the exception of maybe one other one that could have pulled that off. But when we got through there, our morale was shot, and when we went to Okinawa, we were just a shell of what we were before. And no other division could have withstood those kind of casualties and still held their ground. But for 20 years, I've been touting the Marine Corps and signing up individuals and doing my best. I'm going to send him a letter and tell him I want to retire. I got my 20 years. Thank you very kindly. It's been nice talking to you.